Isla's code, the last trial. Dr. Elias Rowe had stopped marking time by days. Now he counted only in vials. Each small glass cylinder held a fraction of a theory, a whisper of hope. Some contained failure, others promise. All of them were for her. Her name was Isla, his wife, his gravity. She had been diagnosed 2 years ago with an aggressive, treatment-resistant lymphoma. By the time they'd caught it, it had already whispered its way into her bones. Conventional therapies didn't work. Every protocol failed. And when her body couldn't take any more, Elias stepped into the one place he could still fight for her, the lab. He wasn't an oncologist. He wasn't even in immunology. But he was one of the world's most gifted biochemical systems engineers. And what he lacked in expertise, he made up for in obsession. He stopped teaching, stopped sleeping, stopped pretending anything mattered but the cells in front of him. He built a team around silence and focus. And then he started building something else. A formula designed not to poison the body, but to teach it to recognize itself again. It wasn't a drug. It was a message. A molecular code written in the language of the immune system, urging it to stop misfiring, to stop hiding, to remember what was good and what was not. The first dozen iterations failed. Then came version 13. He watched it that night under the microscope, the compound moving like a slow breath across a field of cancerous cells. It didn't kill, it rewrote. The cells began to change, to respond, to shift. He blinked, leaned back, exhaled. It's working. He didn't scream, didn't run down the hallway like the movies. He just stared, hands trembling slightly, remembering the way Isla's hand used to rest on his shoulder when she'd visit the lab, before she was too weak to leave the bed. He hadn't told her what he was doing, not really. She knew he was working on something, but he hadn't dared to say it aloud, to promise her the impossible, until now. That night, Elias sat by her bedside and held her hand. She opened her eyes and smiled faintly. "You look tired," she whispered. "I made something," he said softly. "It might help. I think it's ready." She didn't cry. She just nodded and squeezed his hand. It wasn't a miracle. It wasn't overnight. But slowly her numbers changed. Pain lessened. The weight in her chest eased. The scan 3 months later showed regression. At 6 months, the cancer was undetectable. The formula was still in trial, still unnamed, but Elias knew what it would be called. Rowe Kwei at 13, the 13th attempt. But to him, it would always be Isla's code, because she wasn't just the reason he kept going. She was the reason he believed it could be done at all.